Hello everybody and welcome to my studio. My name is Lonna. I'm an acrylic artist and I just want to say thank you so much for stopping in today because I hope you're going to paint a really fun, this is truly a beginner project. I think it's going to be so incredibly easy and it's got some bright colors and it's going to be a very relaxing painting. Now this video today is sponsored by DecoArt. You guys know how much I love DecoArt's products, and today we are going to be working specifically with the sunset paint set, and we're going to paint a beautiful sunset with the paints that are inside this box. And you can purchase this set at DecoArt.com. I will have the link in the description below where you can go to DecoArt and get this particular set. And while you're there, check out all of their other products. I haven't found one that I just haven't fallen in love with. And you know Traditions paints are my favorite paints by DecoArt, so grab some of those while you're there. So if you're ready to take a peek inside this box, let's take a peek. And just a quick note, this will be a time-lapse video with a voiceover. That is what DecoArt requested. So enjoy the video, but first, let's take a look inside this box. All right, are you ready to take a look inside this box to see what beautiful colors it holds? The Sunset Paint Set from DecoArt. We will use every one of these colors in our painting today. So let's take a look at what we've got. We've got cadmium yellow, snow white, bright salmon, primary red, royal navy, cranberry wine, spiced pumpkin, and vivid violet. Look at all these gorgeous colors right here. We're going to use every single one of them in our beautiful sunset painting today. I love that the box comes complete with every color that you need to paint a gorgeous sunset. So I'm going to be painting on a 9x12 canvas. Let's grab it and get painting. I've got my 9x12 canvas here. I'm marking down 3 1/4 inches and drawing a line. I have applied a 1-inch piece of masking tape all the way around this canvas for our border. Now we're putting out all these beautiful paints that are in this sunset paint set, and we are going to use every single color on this beautiful painting. All right, let's tape off on our horizon line just below that line, and we're getting ready to paint in the sky. I'm using the 12 flat brush, using yellow and white for my undercoating for my sky. I'm going to wipe the brush off and go to my next color, which is pumpkin spice, and add that into the sky, and then wipe off and go into that beautiful salmon color and put that in there. Now I'm just using a back and forth stroke, just kind of skimming it across. We're going to put red at the top, wipe off, grab a little bit of yellow, and gently, very gently blend where some of those colors might have a little bit harder line. Wipe off your brush, get some white, and streak some clouds in there. I'm going to go to a smaller brush to paint my sun in, and it's just a 8 flat, and I'm going to paint the sun in, and then I'm going to mix a little bit of red and violet and add that to the top of the sky to get that little violet color in there. And then I'll add some white to the sun again and some white streaky clouds. I'm going to go over those again. I'd already put some in, but I needed to go over them a second time to make them pop a little bit. It's very easy. Just step on that chisel edge and skim it across the canvas. Take the tape off, make sure your sky is dry, apply a piece of tape on the line just above it, and we're going to paint the water in. Again, I'm going to that number 12 flat, mixing yellow and blue to make an aqua color, and then I'm going to add a little bit of white in there. It was a little dark to start with, and so we will darken that back up a little bit, but I didn't want it to be quite that dark. I'm just going to keep adding white to it to get it lighter and lighter as we come down the canvas. The water closest to us will be the lightest. Now I'm going to wash my brush and take the pumpkin and the yellow and the white and a tiny little bit of that blue that we mixed and make a sand color and bring that into that bottom left corner. Let it blend into the water. All right, wash your brush, mix blue and cranberry wine, and we're going to go along the horizon line at the back. Just messily paint that in. Then take the chisel edge of this big brush and skim some of that across for some darker areas in the water. Wipe the brush off and gently blend those in. I'm mixing a little bit more of that lighter watercolor, and I'm lightening up in the front because the water in the front is going to be the lightest. And then I'm just wiggling an kind of M motion back and forth down that canvas to create some water coming up on the sandy areas. And then we can take a little bit of this lighter blue and put it out into the water itself. We're going to take that straight up the middle in a back and forth motion heading toward that sun. Let's remove that tape for our horizon line. Look at that, gorgeous. Brighten up your sun, then take that white paint and go back and forth, just letting it skip across the water in a horizon fashion. Make sure you are doing it horizontally. Then take that same brush with some white. I don't have a lot of paint on my brush, and add some white foamy stuff at the edge of all that water coming onto the sand. How fun is that? It's so easy, and I really do not have a lot of water on my brush. We're going to add some of this out here for some little splashy waves. You don't have to do that. You could just add just a few little streaks of highlight in the water, but I thought the look of some waves would be fun, and it's nothing technical. Really, painting water is not technical when you're painting just a quick little sunset like this. So easy, so easy. I'm taking a little bit of that dark blue mix and going underneath my waves to give them a little shadow underneath. You don't have to do that. I just thought it was kind of fun. A little bit more white foamy stuff coming on there, and it is looking pretty good. All right, we're mixing blue and yellow and some red to make a green color. I mixed it. It wasn't quite dark enough, so I went back and added more yellow and more red into my mix, which made a dark green. We're just going to add some land masses back here. I'm using that small flat, just tapping them in right at the horizon line. If it goes down into the water a little bit, no big deal. That could be a reflection in the water. I don't take it all the way to the sun, but I take it pretty close. We're also going to add this green color at the forefront here, down in the bottom right corner. That's going to start giving our painting some depth. We're going to make a little bit of a landmass there. And now I'm taking a number 3 round, thin my paint with a little water to make it inky, and pull up from those grassy areas with the very tip of that brush and just kind of flick it and let the grasses kind of have a little curve and movement to them. Stay on that tip. If you push on the brush, you'll get thick strokes, but if you stay up on the tip, they'll stay nice and thin for you. Add a little yellow to the brush to brighten up that green and add some highlights on our tree line. You can put some reflection of that in the water if you want, but it's way back there. You're not going to see it, so don't worry if you don't want to do that. It's not a big deal. A little highlight on the tips of the grasses with this light green. And then you can add a little bit of yellow and white mix onto your areas, your trees, your distant trees, and your grasses in the front, and make a little brighter highlight. Now we're going to start adding some color into the water. We're going to add, I added one more highlight on the trees with some yellow and white. So we're going to add some of that yellow and white into the water as a reflection from the sky, just back and forth. It's kind of just here and there. Don't put it everywhere. And you can add that color into your trees and your grasses for highlights. Then I added a little bit of some of my orange and I think some of my red into the water for sort of reflections from the sun. Just do it here and there. You don't have to have a lot. You could keep it just the white, bright reflection from the sun coming down the center if you want. If you get too much and you feel like you've put way too many colors in there, it's an easy fix. Go back to your mix that you painted your water with and just go over some of those lines and take them just right out of there. They'll just disappear right out of there. Super, super easy fix. So don't stress if you feel like you get too much color coming into your water. All right, it's looking beautiful. I am loving it. I hope you're loving it. See here, I had too many lines, so I went back with a little bit of my blue and just took a few of those out of there. Not an issue at all. Let's get ready to remove our tape here, which is going to reveal that beautiful white border on there. So take that tape off, get that white border showing. Oh, this is such a satisfying movement right here. Just taking that tape off, which my tape was the stickiest tape I have ever dealt with, but I got it. I got it. Look at that gorgeous painting. I'm touching up with a little white here where a little bit of paint went underneath my tape. Not very much did, but I did have a couple places where it was thinner paint. All right, we're going to do a 2x2 canvas now with these exact same paints, the exact same painting that we just did on that 9x12. That yellow and white mix for the sky. Wipe off your brush, add some of the pumpkin spice or spiced pumpkin, and then add the red and whatever colors you want to put in the sky. You don't have to use all the colors that you put in your other one because this is such a small painting. You're just getting the same kind of look. Your white for the sun and your clouds. Now let's do our water with that mix. We're starting at the back, but at this point I decide I want to get my sand done first. So I'm going to take that mix of the white and yellow and the pumpkin color and make my sand. Now I'm going back to my aqua color, which you know was the blue and the yellow and the white. Continue to add more white to get it lighter. A little movement in the water back there, and add more white to my sun. Couldn't seem to get that sun bright enough for me. A little water on, a little foam on the water. Now remember, it's a small canvas, 2x2, so you do not need a lot of paint on your brush. A little bit of reflection. I didn't do too much on this one. I just did a little bit of yellow and a little bit of orange on this one because I didn't want it to overtake this tiny little bitty canvas. I'm brightening up my sun and the reflection coming down, and now I'm using that blue and green and red mix or blue and yellow and red mix to make my dark green, and adding my trees and my landmass. And I'm still just using the 2 round. I only used 3 brushes on this project, a 12 flat, an 8 flat, and a 2 round. All I used on both of these canvases. And a little lightening up there, little highlights, and this canvas is done. And we're going to take the tape off of this one now and reveal that beautiful white border and touch up any areas where you got paint on the edge. That's it. We used this set of paints for both these canvases. We had a 9x12 and a 2x2, a ruler, a pencil, some masking tape, your paint palette, all your normal stuff that you need right there. And then that's it. We're done.